Hey, welcome back. I was just watching the news. They had something on there about Manson. One of the Manson family members had a yard sale, and one of my friends showed up. Yeah, he showed up. He got a picture with her. He got his book signed, and he bought some stuff off of her at the yard sale, or she gave him some stuff. I'll show you that. There'll be a picture of that here. I don't have my phone with me, but I'll show you a picture of that. I can't show you a picture of him and her because you know how that goes. Don't show the picture. Okay, whatever. But she has long blonde hair and she looks pretty good. And I guess she asked about me in my court case, and we'll get into a little bit of that too later. I'll tell you a story about court. I was thinking of all the people that die, and in their obituary, Manson shows up on their resume. Isn't that ironic? I mean, most people in life, they'd be like, oh, Manson's the bad guy. But then later on, they use him in their resume for whatever reason it may be. I mean, even here, he was my friend. He's on my resume. There's a lot of people that Manson's on their resume, and I find that quite ironic. In the video a while back, there was a couple of them. There was a couple people that told me, not a couple, there was quite a few. I bet you there was at least 20 people who told me that their grandmother or their mother all told them the same thing about people dying in threes. And guess what I just seen on the news? Somebody else with Manson on their resume just died.
We have sad news to bring you about a legendary member of the KTLA family.
Yeah, pioneering journalist Warren Wilson has died. Wilson worked here at KTLA for 21 years, breaking some of LA's biggest stories. He covered the Charles Manson cult killings and the 1974 kidnapping of newspaper heiress Patty Hearst, along with the assassination of Robert Kennedy Jr.
I told you that day. I walked out of the courthouse. I walked right up into the cameras of the media, and I says, he don't want people taking pieces off his body. I told you that. I said that. Nobody believed it though, because the grandson's like, oh no, he's a collector. He's gonna sell pieces. He's gonna sell pieces of my grandfather. What's the media do? They watch him do his new dance. Oh, my grandfather, they're gonna sell pieces of him, man. You're gonna be everywhere. He's my grandfather. Oh, BS. I told you. You don't listen, though.
Getting our first look inside the Michigan Museum of Horror. It recently acquired one of only 2 vials containing Charles Manson's cremated remains. CBS News Detroit's photojournalist Aaron Bryant took more on this rare piece of true crime history.
So the grandson got it. Oh, thank God the grandson got it. Now he can save the grandpa from being scattered all over the United States. Wait a minute. That's exactly what happened. I'm going to tell you something. When people in life, and I might have told you this before if you've watched these videos, but if people in life start telling you about you, they ain't telling you about you. Which he was doing at the beginning. He was telling the whole media about me. He's gonna do this. I knew exactly then what he was gonna do. That's something that you watch. That's a tell right there. And everything that he said in the very beginning is exactly what he did. Ha! Manson's everywhere.
See little pieces of bone fragment amongst the ash. It remains.
It's what brought me in today.
Really?
It is.
So you have great taste then.
Yeah. I think it's pretty crazy. My mom always told me about Charles Manson.
Yeah, he's in 2 people's faces. 2 people's got him tattooed into their face. How would you like to have Charles Manson tattooed into your face? Yeah. We actually sat at a table in the visiting room and we talked about this sort of thing. And Manson's like, I know people want pieces of my body. He thought that they were going to want to take his tattoo and make a leather. Somebody should have done that, man. Somebody should have done that. You just wasted pieces of meat. That's what he would have said. He would have said the same thing. You just wasted pieces of meat right there in them tattoos. You could have had canvas tattoos. 2 of them. You know how much those would have brought? Pfft, Jason, you screwed up. Everybody took advantage of you too. They all took pieces of him. They all got their piece. But what was you left with? Nothing but the curse, man. All you got was the curse. And that was the curse. The curse was those little pieces. 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 They'll come back to haunt you forever. Those pieces. There was a lot of people that sold you out, Jason. You didn't even realize it. That there were just people using you left and right. All because you wanted to be famous. You wanted to be the grandson. I know what you're saying. You're saying, what's that? Just looks like a jar of dirt to me. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a jar of dirt. And it's got Manson's birthday and his death day on it. Let's talk about this pretty heavy jar of dirt and on how I got it. Again, like I said, Manson just keeps coming back to me in my life. It's not me even asking for this. I wanted to, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to make a casket myself right here in the garage and put him in that and bury him in a hole in Death Valley. Not embalm him. I wanted to do that. That's what I wanted to do. That's what he wanted to do too. So this jar of dirt, it comes from, it originates from the Bloodlines documentary. It came from there. And I'm going to tell you how it came from there. I knew everybody in that. I knew the producer of that documentary. He came to my house. He came to my house 3 times after we had filmed the documentary on Reels. I used to talk to him on the phone all the time. As a matter of fact, he called me like 20 times. So I knew the producer well. I knew another guy. I knew a cameraman on there well too. I was in a documentary well before Jason was, and all they did was picked up the crew of people that came from the documentary that I came from to the one that he was now in. Okay, I already felt like the other documentary was the best documentary they ever did on Charles Manson. It's a Reels documentary, and I was pretty proud of that. I felt like I got screwed in it. Well, that's another story. But I knew all the people, and I didn't really have any hard feelings at the time for the producer or any of those people. I liked them all. I would even see them in court, because now they were doing this documentary. They were on Jason's side. They would sit in Jason's side of the court. They even came to my house a couple times. Even the producer came to my house and asked me, hey, we need you to be in this film. This thing's boring. You know, would you want to be in it? And I was like, no, I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to. I told him that a dozen times over and over. And I kept explaining it to him, man, this is my friend. I don't want to. This isn't what he wanted. He didn't want to be on TV. He didn't want to be in a documentary. He didn't want any of this stuff. So if I'm in it, we're just going to go bury him in Death Valley. And they didn't want to go for that, you know. They even at one point, they even mentioned, why don't we have you and Matt and Michael Bruner and all these people go throw him over the side of a ship out in the ocean. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. I kept telling them that, and they finally got the clue. Well, to this bag of dirt. Okay, I know these dudes well, as I just explained to you. The bag of dirt comes from, if you watch the documentary on the Bloodlines, okay, they toss this, all of them, they toss all these ashes out in this one spot right there down. That's how I found out where the spot was too, where I got Michael's back to the exact spot. I found out from all these producers and all these people in the film. I know them all. And they were all pretty much selling Jason out just for a story, which I would have told him if he was my friend. I would have like, dude, don't do this, don't do this. All they're going to do is sell you out. It's going to be a curse to you for the rest of your life, which is going to be now, Jason. And now I'm doing my dance. Anyway, what was he talking about? Okay, yeah. This documentary. Yeah, the documentary. We were talking about the documentary in dirt, in the whole jar of dirt. A lot of it's dirt and bones and ashes. And how it got to be like that was if you've watched the documentary, you'll see as they're walking up the hill, there's people, you know, they grabbed handfuls of this, and there's a whole, when a person gets a bag, it's a huge bag of ashes, and they probably got rid of half of them there. And then there's people rubbing them, and there's people grabbing them and putting them in. You know, people took them away. I know. Now, 2020 hindsight, I know a bunch of people that took them away. Just about everybody did. And Jason then sold some later. That's where you see the ones that come up on television like this in Michigan. I'll put the address so you can go see Charles Manson for Halloween if you want to. I don't have a problem with that. Just watch. You might go home with a curse. Isn't that what they advertise in these places? It's like, hey, all this stuff's haunted, and yeah, and then you go in. You don't go home and have a ghost following you around or your door slamming and stuff like that. So you'll ask for your money back. But hopefully when you go, you'll take a piece of Manson home with you too, and stuff will start happening around your house. That would be fantastic. That's why this jar of dirt right here, I never wanted it in the first place. All these people who know me on this documentary, as they're walking up the hill, okay, the documentary ends. At that point, they quit filming, and these people are now at the top of the hill, and they're talking to each other, and there's still some crew down there. And what's the crew doing down there? They're cleaning up the area of the dirt where they threw all the ashes, because they're afraid to leave anything behind, because they don't want the state coming back to them. They want to be able to say they cleaned it all up. And they documented it as they cleaned it all up and put it in a bag, and they took it away with them. Well, one of the film guys showed up at my door, and he's like, here, we thought you should have this, and this is what it is. I'm like, thanks. I didn't want to say, I don't want that. I did want to say that because I didn't really want that. You see where I'm at? See the irony in the story? That I was thinking about all the irony involved in Charles Manson. Boy, there's a lot of irony here. It's thick. I mean, even happened in my life several times. Charles Manson just keeps coming back to me. So they also had a memorial service this week for Matthew, or last week, or it was within the last 2 weeks, for Matthew Roberts. I didn't go because I worked in a funeral home when I was a teenager, from the time I was 16 to the time I was 18. And there's times I even slept overnight in the funeral home. So dead bodies don't scare me, and he didn't even have a dead body there. It was just a memorial service. But it's like the memorial services that they have where the dead body's laying there and they talk. Nobody ever says anything bad about the dude. And the people that are talking don't even really know the dude all that well. The ones that really cared, they're sitting there bawling. So it's like the dead guy can't even hear you, you know? You should have told him that in life, all that stuff. Like, oh man, we were best buddies and we did great YouTube videos, and he never asked for any money, and I never gave him any, of course, and you know, you should have told him all that stuff in life. And that's why I didn't go, because memorial services are for the alive people. They're not for the dead people. Can you imagine pulling up and Lynette Fromey having a yard sale? Colby, you should have bought everything. You could have sold all that stuff on eBay. What you got? Just a little belt you got? Give me a piece of that, man. Buy me something next time. Well, I'm this crazy collector guy who wants to take Manson's body and scatter it all over the place. It becomes true now. So, until next time, maybe we just might start doing that. Peace.